Hey guys, Wet Movie 1 back here again with another Blu-ray DVD update video for you guys today. It's been about 2 weeks or so since my last one. Definitely give this video a thumbs up if you guys like my update videos. The first one up from Disney is The Return to Neverland, the sequel to Peter Pan that came out back in like the early 2000s. I believe it was like 2002. And in this one, Wendy's all grown up and has kids of her own. Her husband's being sent off to war because this film takes place in wartime. And she's always telling her kids stories about Peter Pan and Neverland and the evil Captain Hook. And her daughter Jane is getting to that age where she's starting not to believe her mom's stories anymore about pixies and Neverland and all that kind of stuff. And one night, when Jane's in her room, the evil Captain Hook comes on his big ship with all his pirates and his friends and captures Jane to bring her back to Neverland. Hold her up for ransom because Peter Pan has stole something from Captain Hook and Captain Hook wants it back. But yet, Captain Hook doesn't know that it's Wendy's daughter that he took and not Wendy herself, because Wendy's all grown up now. And it's the adventure that Jane gets to go through from this event happening. And it was just an amazing sequel to a film that I've always loved, Peter Pan. And I don't really hear a lot of people talking about this film. It's always been one of those ones I really liked. It's one of those ones that has little updated effects because it was done in the early 2000s. And you get pretty much the same special features you got on the 2002 DVD release of the film, like deleted scenes and what was it called, Pixie previews and things like that. But the picture quality on this is actually pretty good. I really did enjoy watching this one. It's a little dark for a Disney film, like at the beginning, because there's like a war happening, like bombs going off like next to Wendy's house, and her father's being sent off to war. They're not knowing if he's going to come back alive or not, but it's a Disney film, so you know what's going to happen anyway. But you know what I mean? It's just one of those kind of things. It feels kind of a little too dark for Disney at some points, but it's one of those ones I've always really liked revisiting every couple years. But that's The Return to Neverland on Blu-ray DVD. Definitely check it out, guys. I highly recommend that one. And this next one right here is a childhood favorite of mine, and that is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, here on DVD, Blu-ray digital copy combo pack here. You guys all know Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Eeyore, Piglet. In this film, it's just Winnie the Pooh going on his little adventures, getting stuck in a honey tree, getting stuck in a rabbit hole, and everyone trying to figure out how they're going to get him out of this rabbit hole, because when he went to Rabbit's house one day, he was hungry and ate all Rabbit's honey, and as he was trying to get out of the rabbit hole, he got stuck because he was too big. And his people, it's all his friends trying to figure out how they're going to get him up out of that rabbit hole, I've always really loved this one since I was a kid. Like, Eeyore is one of my favorite characters. Like, I know Winnie. Oh, no one cares. Oh, Eeyore was like the emo character of the Winnie the Pooh series, It's just one of those ones I love revisiting also. And you pretty much get all the same special features as you did on the previous DVD release of the film. Looks pretty damn good on Blu-ray, but that's The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh on Blu-ray here. Next up right here from 20th Century Fox is The League, Season 4 on DVD. This show is actually really funny. It airs on FX. I forgot what nights they air. I used to watch it when it was playing on at least the first 2 seasons of it. But this show is pretty damn funny. It's about these guys that have these desk jobs. They have their regular jobs and their families and things. But when they're not working or with their family, they're having this fantasy football league and like stealing different players from each other and like doing all these crazy funny things. It's a really funny, entertaining show. It's not one of the greatest ones ever made or anything like that. Like, I like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but it is a funny show. I do have the other seasons of them already. Definitely check this one out. This one has all 13 episodes of season 4, and you get extended episodes, deleted scenes, gag reels, and more. If you guys are a fan of the show, just want to let you guys all know it's out now. Next up right here is Scenic Route, starring Josh Duhamel and Dan Fogler, which you guys all know Josh Duhamel from like Transformers movies. He was also in the Las Vegas TV show that was on for a while. And Dan Fogler, you guys all know from like Fanboys, and he was also in Balls of Fury. And in this film, these two guys play like childhood friends that are taking this little road trip. In the middle of this road trip, they're driving down the scenic route, like in the middle of a desert, and their car breaks down, their truck breaks down or whatever. It's just what they have to do to try to survive, and how they're gonna, get to civilization, and how they're slowly going crazy, and what's really going on in the film. It's actually really kind of entertaining. It's pretty much just those two in the film the whole time, with, a couple little things that they cut to, and little sequences and things, but it was actually really well done. I like this little lenticular slipcover here. It's a really different role for Dan Fogler, you know what I mean? He's usually like the funny guy, and this one he's like the serious one, And they're just, just two friends talking about how life has went, and how one of them is kind of homeless and living in his car, and the other one has like a family and a wife, and they're kind of like, just bickering between the two, and how they're trying to survive in the middle of the desert with only one cup full of like I don't know, like Slurpee or something. But it was actually really kind of entertaining. I can't really give anything else away in the film because it's just, what happens when a car breaks down in the middle of the desert. What are you going to do, But that's Scenic Route. Definitely check this one out, guys. Highly recommend it. This one gets the Wet Movie 1 stamp of approval on this one, baby. Alright guys, next up is Aberration here on DVD. I'm just going to give you guys a quick synopsis on this film. It wasn't very good, but it's pretty much about this high school girl named Christy. She's just a normal high school kid, and one day this ghost appears to her in one of her classrooms and freaks her out really bad, but she's the only person that sees this ghost. So everyone thinks she's just kind of crazy, but as soon as this ghost appears to her, a lot of her friends start dying and disappearing, and she's kind of going, what is going on here? Like, is it this ghost that's killing my friends, or is it something else? And it's pretty much her trying to figure out who's committing all these murders, and why is this ghost appearing to her and stuff like that. That's pretty much the the story of this film. It wasn't very good at all. I watched it all the way through, but it felt like a student film a little bit. You know what I mean? Like the camera people did a good job. Some of the acting was kind of iffy, and the script was just kind of like, huh? and the same thing with like the ghost boy that you see. It just looks like they sort of just like threw makeup on him and said, here, just go stand there. It's like one of those kind of things. But that's Aberration for you guys. I can't recommend this one at all. Next up right here from Kino is Bela Lugosi in Devil Bat on Blu-ray. This is a film that came out in 1940. And in this film, Bela Lugosi plays this scientist/doctor of this small town. The doctor that kind of goes to your house for house visits and things to see if you're okay, take your temperature and things like that. And one day he goes kind of crazy and creates this devil bat that goes out there and kills the people that he's mad at. Like he creates this little formula, or like aftershave lotion that people put on. And when they put on this lotion, the bat knows where to go to who to kill. It was actually really kind of entertaining. It's only about 60 minutes long, but Bela Lugosi's always been like a really fun actor to watch. He's always superly over the top with his acting, and that's what I like about him. He just goes there. He's like, you know what? I'm Bela Lugosi. That's how I'm gonna act. You're gonna get me the same way in every movie. But it was a nice little transfer of this film on Blu-ray. I'm not gonna lie, I have never seen it before until I got this Blu-ray. Highly recommended. Movies from this time period are always kind of fun, good, cheesy movies to watch, But that's Bela Lugosi in The Devil Bat on Blu-ray. Alright guys, next up is Detour here on DVD. It's about this guy named Jackson. He's a family man, businessman, and one night he's on his way home to see his girlfriend, and he gets blindsided by this mudslide that happens on this mountain that he has to take to get home, and he gets knocked unconscious, and when he wakes up, he's trapped inside of his car, but underneath all this mud and dirt and everything, and he's stuck in his car, and it's pretty much him trying to figure out how he's going to survive in there with limited amounts of water, limited amounts of food in there. It's kind of like the movie Buried, where Ryan Reynolds was stuck in a coffin for the whole movie. And this film was pretty much him stuck in his car for this entire movie, trying to figure out what he's going to do to get up out of the situation that he's in. Because whenever he tries to like get up out of the window, mud starts sliding into his car and like engulfing him with more and more dirt and mud and things, and it's really kind of claustrophobic kind of a feel. Really did enjoy this film. I always love films that take place in like one spot. This one was very highly enjoyable, very, very entertaining. If you guys are into movies like Buried and 127 Hours and things like that, definitely recommend this one, guys. Detour on DVD. Alright guys, next up from Anchor Bay is the Lords of Salem on Blu-ray, DVD, Ultraviolet digital copy combo pack here with a slipcase lenticular. You guys all know that me and Andrew reviewed this film when it came out in the theaters. We weren't a big fan of it, but we actually kind of, you know, gave it one of the lowest ratings we ever gave a movie. And I just kind of wanted to revisit it just to give it another chance, because when I see something and I really don't like it, I wanted to give it a second chance just to, like, you know, to see if it's, you know, gonna stick if I really don't like this film. And plus, there was a commentary track on here by Rob Zombie that I wanted to listen to see what he has to say about the film. In the commentary track of this film, he was talking about how he shot all this footage that he had to cut from each little, like, part of the film. Like, it seemed like every 5 minutes in the commentary track, Rob Zombie was talking about, yep, we had to cut this part out. We shot this scene here. We had to cut out to make this happen and that happen. Like, there seemed like there'd be a lot. It seemed like there was a lot of problems when Rob Zombie was making this movie. And I guess about like 16% of the film was actually shot in Salem itself. Like a lot of the exterior shots where like Sherry Moon Zombie's like walking down the street and stuff like that. The movie is visually stunning, you know, to look at for, like, you know, for the Rob Zombie kind of feel. Like his artistry is coming alive in a movie like this. But as a movie, I would like to see all the deleted scenes and what he shot and put it all together in one film, so I can really form a good opinion about this movie. It's pretty much about this one girl played by Sherry Moon Zombie. She works at this radio station with like Ken Faree and a couple of other really cool actors. And one day she gets like a package sent to her at the radio station, and it's this record called The Lords, or they call it The Lords of Salem, The Lords. And when she plays this music, all this crazy stuff starts happening to her, like demonic things, and she starts seeing like images and stuff like that. She starts slowly going out of her mind too. But the movie seems like it sounds kind of cool, but when I watch it, it's still kind of like, I don't know. It feels like a bad acid trip to me, especially like the last half of the film when Rob Zombie's going all crazy with like the visuals and things. It feels like a acid trip, you know. But that's the Lords of Salem on Blu-ray. Get it if you guys want to hear what Rob Zombie has to say about it on the commentary track. Other than that, I recommend a rental on it, guys. Next up right here is Pawn Shop Chronicles. This film stars Brendan Fraser, Elijah Wood, which you've never seen him in a movie like this before, and Paul Walker. It's pretty much an anthology film that circles around this one pawn shop that's in a small town. And there's like 3 or 4 different stories intermingled throughout it. It was actually really crazy, over the top stories, you know, especially the one where you see Elijah Wood in there, because in one of the stories there's this one guy that's just got married to his second wife. They're going to be pawning their wedding ring so they can go on a honeymoon together, and when this couple is in there, the husband that's in there to get this money for the ring sees this other ring that he bought his first wife that went missing years ago, and he's like, "What? How did you guys get this ring?" And it's pretty much him trying to figure out how that pawn shop owner got that ring and who he bought it from, and trying to track it back to find out what really happened to his wife and why his first wife went missing. And it's really crazy to find out what happened to her and how you see Elijah Wood in this story. Really crazy and over the top, just fun, good cheese. I really did. I was really, like, you know, entertained by this one, guys. I don't want to get into it anymore because it's easy to give away things in this, but you get Brendan Fraser in there playing Elvis, or look-alike Elvis in there. It was really, really funny. A lot of good actors in this film, really over the top. Highly recommended, The Pawn Shop Chronicles. Alright guys, next up from Magnolia is Shadow Dancer here on Blu-ray, starring Clive Owen. This film is pretty much about this young single mother named Colette that just got arrested for, you know, her part in this terrorist activity that's happening in London. And Clive Owen is one of the stars of the film that's playing this investigator and, you know, asking her all these questions. And, you know, is your family a terrorist organization that's, you know, in London right now that's committing all these, you know, horrific murders? And it's her trying to keep her family secret and her family, you know, her young kid from getting into trouble with this stuff. And the movie is really kind of hard to explain. That's pretty much all I can really say. It's pretty much this one lady being interrogated by the police about her family that are supposed terrorists in London, and what she's going to do to try to save her and her son. You know, it's kind of a crazy kind of a story. It kept me interested, but I wasn't blown away by it. Clive Owen does a really good performance in this film. On this Blu-ray here, you get a behind-the-scenes featurette and casting crew interviews on this Blu-ray. It's one of those movies you would just rent on like a weekend or something. It's not like one you have to rush out to buy, but it was watchable. Shadow Dancer here on Blu-ray. Next up right here is No Place on Earth. This is a documentary film about what happened during the Holocaust and how some Jewish people escaped the Nazis during this time, and where some of these Jewish people had to go to hide. Like you guys all know, Anne Frank was hiding up in the attic at this one house with her and some other, a couple other family people, families and stuff, for a long time before they got found out. But in this one, it's a documentary about where some other Jewish people went to go hide, not in a house, not like in a car somewhere. They went to go hide underground, deep underground in these caves for like over a year and a half or 2 years. And this documentary just tells a story about these couple of families that went down into this cave to escape the Nazis during the Holocaust. And it was the story is really amazing to listen to, but just the way the documentary is put together with like reenactments and stuff like that. Like they had the interviews with some of the people that this happened to, and they actually stayed in these caves, and you get footage of the people now going back into that cave where they were, so many years ago, and feeling what they felt like, back in the day. But then they also cut to reenactments and stuff that really kind of take me out of the film, while like the people are telling the stories about what happened when they were in there, and how things were collapsing, and how they had to be quiet and not make any noises and things. It's a very amazing story, but like I said, the reenactments in the film really kind of took me out of the movie. It's kind of like just put it in, listen to what they're saying, but don't watch the screen, kind of a thing. One of those kind of things. It would be cool if it was like book on tape, kind of a situation here, but very inspiring story, story just to listen to. But that's No Place on Earth. Really recommend this one, guys, except for the reenactments and stuff. Alright guys, next up is Gangsters here on Blu-ray. This movie is based on the notorious Bangkok gangs of the 1950s and 60s. And this film's pretty much about this head gangster that's been in prison for years. He's being let out of jail now, but now he wants to live his life on the up and up. He wants to live straight. He doesn't want to live the gang life anymore. But when he's let out of jail, that's all he knows is the gang life. And you have to see to what happens to him, and does he get involved in the gang life again and all the craziness that ensues from there, or does he live his life straight? This movie was kind of fun to watch. The action stuff was fun, but it also cuts into like weird interviews with people, in and out of the movie, which kind of like threw me out of it. But like the fight stuff is fun. But a lot of it's kind of lost in translation when you watch it. When you watch a movie like this dubbed, even if you watch it subtitled, you lose. There's always a little bit of lost in translation stuff that goes on in this film. But it's also from the producers of On Bak 2 and Chocolate, the cool martial art films that came out a few years ago that I really liked, especially Chocolate. Chocolate was a good one. It's worth watching, but I don't know if I can recommend like a big purchase on it. Alright guys, last up here for this Blu-ray DVD update today is Silent But Deadly, starring Jason Mewes. And no, it's not a movie about a giant fart. It's a movie about this guy named Thomas, played by Jason Mewes. He lives on this small farm with his dad and his dad's 2 mail-order brides. And he doesn't really like the company of his family. He likes to keep to himself. He really prefers the company of his 2 goats that live on his farm, and his dad's always pushing him around, talking down to him. And one day, Jason Mewes gets caught peeping at the 2 mail order brides upstairs making out with each other, and his dad gets mad and kills one of his goats, and that just makes Jason Mewes' character get all really mad, kill his father, kill the 2 mail order brides, and then go on the run because he doesn't need to get caught by the police for killing his family. So it's pretty much him going on the run, and in the middle of him, leaving his house, he finds these people from LA that are shooting this movie in his small town, and he kind of gets involved in the filmmaking of this little horror film that they're making in his town. And slowly but surely he goes crazy and starts knocking people off one by one on this film set. This movie was absolutely cheesy. You know, Jason Mewes looked like he didn't really know what he was doing. He didn't like. It didn't look like he had really any direction or any, like, really anything to do. He says, like, okay, stand there and now throw this, now walk here, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't really have much to say in the film. It's like little tiny one-liners. He doesn't really talk much. But there's also the police officers in this film that are super funny. You get like a short or a little midget guy or short guy, whatever you want to call it, little person, playing like the chief of police. He was like one of the best parts of this film, the standout character to me. You know, him trying to investigate the murders and trying to find who killed these guys as they're trying to find, you know, who did it and stuff. And Jason Mewes kind of hiding out, you know, on this film set making this movie. The blood effects, you know, like the kills are kind of cool, but the effects are really bad. You know, like when someone gets chopped in half, like you see it's like CGI, like really bad CGI. But you can let it go for a cheesy movie like this, you know? Like the movie's so bad, it's good, you know? It's one of those kind of things. But Silent but Deadly, guys, if you're a fan of Jason Mewes, definitely check it out. If you guys are into horror slasher films, check it out. But it's not like a super good gore movie, you know what I mean? The gore is really bad, but it's just really fun and entertaining to watch. It's more funny than it is, like, you know, horror, you know? But that's Silent but Deadly on DVD, guys. Definitely check this one out. And guys, that's all I have to show you guys today for this Blu-ray DVD update video for you guys today. Please give this video a thumbs up. Drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think of any of these movies I talked about in this video today. And I'll see you guys all next time.